Hello, my name is Kasper and welcome to the next episode of JavaScript Crash Course 2023. So if you wanna become a developer in the next year, JavaScript developer or web developer, stay with me and follow this tutorial. If you haven't watched any previous videos, I recommend you to go back and see how the environment is set up and how to make declaration of variables, console logs, etc. In this episode, I will talk about if statements, so mainly if, else, and switch. It's a very important part of the coding. I don't remember honestly a day without coding if statements, so I think it's a big fundamental. So if you wanna learn that, stay with me and we are going to the VS Code. So basically, what is if statements? You can remember from previous episodes that I was making some very basic if statements to show you how the operations works, logical operations mainly. So I will start with simple if. So I maybe declare the variable which will be render, and I will set it to true and let not render and set it to false. Okay, I have two variables assigned with the boolean, and I will make a simple if statement. So if render console log, it is rendered. And obviously this is the syntax. So if render true, render is true, I will console log it is rendered. If I type here not render, which is false, what will happen? Nothing. So this is conditional rendering, but we can make situations when we have some variable, for example from database, and we don't know if it's true or false. There are some conditions, and maybe I will make something like that. Let variable, and it will be true, and if there is variable, console log there is a variable. But if there is no variable, if this condition is not fulfilled, I make something like else. It's a keyword. I don't make any statement here, so this piece of code will run only if there is false. And console log there is no variable. So this is true. So this piece of code is rendered. But if I set it to false, there is no variable. Yeah. And for example, this is the simplest statement, but I can do it also with multiple statements inside one if. And let's do it like that. I will clear the console. And for example, I will make let time and define it to maybe 12. So it's 12 o'clock, and I will make if statement. So if time is lower than 12 o'clock, I will render good morning. Else if, and it's another keyword, after else there is no statement, because if this could be false, the rest is rendered. But else if need needs some statement, and if time is greater or equal 12, and I will make AND operator, and time is lower than 18 or maybe 20, I will render good day. And else, so the time is not below 12 o'clock, but there is needed also some other condition. Time is lower than this, and time is greater than 6 or maybe 4. And else console log good evening. So what happened? It printed good day because time is greater or equal 12. Time is 12. So I have the variable, and if this condition is fulfilled, it compile this piece of code and just leave. Nothing else happens. If this is false, it checks this condition. And if it's true, it prints this, and it's visible here, and nothing else is done. If these conditions are false, the else is working. So we can change it to, for example, 1 o'clock in the evening, and we have good evening. Yeah, because these conditions were not fulfilled. I can check 10, good morning. But what will happen if I delete this and set variable to not fulfill any of these conditions? So it will be, for example, 3. I will clear the console to be more visible, and nothing happens. So basically it is how the if statement works. It's very helpful. It is so beneficial to use in the code, but also in the clearest way possible. So I recommend also find some if statements to not render too many arguments here, because if I pass also some or time is equal to 0 and no time, yeah, it's not super clean piece of code. Yeah, so always make the conditions like 2 logical operation or maybe 1. Find a solution to make a clean code. It's a good advice to properly make an if statements and be understood in the pull request or in the team operation. Yeah, because you can find right now how it works, but if there will be too much, you will definitely not understand it in the future, and your colleagues also will not understand it properly. So it is a good advice, and we are going to the switch statement. The next method of conditional rendering is a switch. So basically this is also the most fundamental basic one. This time I can remember the day of coding without using the switch, so it is only needed in some very specific situations, and I will show you why. So I will clear this piece of code and start with coding the switch. And for example, I will declare the variable like color, and it's assigned to string red. Okay, I have this variable, and switch. The syntax is like that. Switch the variable. So I take the variable which I want to conditionally rendering. I open brackets, and everything is happening inside these brackets. And case. Case the variable is, for example, blue. I want to console log this color is blue. I made an error here. Okay, and break the case. So nothing happens. I can copy that. And case color is green. I want to make the same with green. I will add another one. Case red. I will make the red, and by default I will console log no matches. And what is happened? This color is red, so it's working, but if I make a mistake here, no matches. If I will add blue, this color is blue. If I make an uppercase, it's not the same. If I make green, it's green. So the syntax of the switch is like shown here. I have the switch, I open brackets, add the variable, open curly brackets, and there are multiple cases. Of course, if you have so many cases, it will not be super clean. So use it only with some few cases, because making some if statements with numbers is more clean. For example, I want to render every number below 1000, and if I could make it in the switch, I would go from case 1, case 2, case 3, and make it 2000, make it 1000 of them. So switch is only a good method when you want to render few multiple cases like that, maybe some colors, maybe some other variables. So what are the common mistakes in the switch statement? I cannot, for example, break the case, and I will add blue. So previously, if the color is blue, it only console logged this color is blue, and it broke. Yeah, everything was fine. I will clean the console. And what happened? It printed this color is blue and this color is green, but the color is not green. What happened if I also delete this break? And it went through the blue, green and red, but it's only blue. What if I go here? It rendered everything. So basically, it can be also a feature, but if you don't break the case, it will go to the next break, no matter what value is passed and what case is there. In the default, it's not needed, because after default is nothing to compile, and you have to remember that default has to be at the end of the switch. So it is all from switches and if statements. Thank you so much for watching, and I invite you to the next episode.